Yes, I am happier, healthier, mentally, physically, but I do experience a bit of existential crisis, like, what am I doing in life? What is my purpose? Am I doing the right thing? What's my life gonna look like? Should I be doing something else?
Hi, Tazel.
Hey, it's Azura.
And I'm Germaine.
And welcome back to another episode of Clarity's Hush Podcast. Today we have a special guest in the house. She's a beautiful, lovely lady. Let's welcome Rhonda.
Hey, Rhonda.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Rhonda.
Glad to be here.
Oh, glad to have you here. Tell our viewers and listeners more about yourself.
I'm Rhonda Wong. I'm CEO, co-founder of Ohmyhome.
Wow.
I work with my sister. So I come from a family of 3 girls. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 2 young kids and have a lovely family.
Basically, she's one woman who has it all together.
I know she's glowing. If you guys are watching on YouTube, she is glowing. She's got great aura and energy, and I'm very excited to pick her brain today. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Absolutely.
She's also on a show, a business reality TV show called CNA's Big Spark.
Yes, that's right. It's a startup challenge. So contestants will come in and share about their businesses and then hopefully win the final prize, which is $1 million.
Wow, that is
It's like Shark
incredible.
Tank.
It is, but a much more nurturing and, helpful and patient one.
Like in cash or in like investments?
Investments.
Wow.
That's still a huge sum of money. And I've seen people like our MediaCorp colleagues filming the Big Spark all over the office. And it's a huge project. I'm so excited for it. It's already aired, am I right?
It is. Yeah, there's been a few episodes and I don't know who the eventual winner is. So I am personally interested and excited about it.
Oh, nice. But you know what? In 1 week from now, we are going to be celebrating International Women's Day.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's no better person to be here with us in the studio, except for Rhonda, because like I mentioned, you seem to have everything coming together all for you. Can you tell us, has it always been this easy for you?
When I think about everything, what I'm always very grateful for is my parents, my sisters, my family, the friends, good husband, healthy children. So that to me is everything. I go to work, I get to see very wonderful team members. So I think everything is defined by individuals, right? I don't have everything in terms of the material sense. I don't have everything in wealth. I don't have everything in other ways. Like I haven't traveled the world, but in the most important ways, I think, I'm happy. I have the things that matters.
I love that.
So nice. She's
So
like
wholesome.
a vision board.
Yeah, I like that whole theme of gratefulness. I think it keeps us young, both in our looks, in our mindset, It keeps us happy, even though we may be experiencing existential crisis, which I was when I was reading about what we're talking about today. Yeah.
You've got 1 more year.
Yes.
Hazy and I are
We are hitting the big 3 O's this
year.
year. This year.
this year.
Yes.
Rhonda said, yay! Applause. What was it like for you turning 30, Rhonda?
Turning 30, I think that year was very exciting for me.
What can we look forward to? What can we expect?
Because all the keywords I see here are like 30 anxiety, 30 phobia,
Yeah.
fear of aging.
Why so scary, yeah?
Isn't it a scary thing?
Everything is mindset, right? Like I think when we're 20s, we think about aging a lot because we're thinking more in appearance, right? But actually, as I age, I start to be grateful for aging because I realize that it's a privilege to be older. Not everyone gets to live till 80, So every day that you get older, you're actually very lucky to be here, So then, that mindset shift actually helps you and help myself really embrace aging. So I'm always proud of my age. You'll hardly ever hear me say like, I wish I was younger. I know a lot of people say that I wish I was 18 again, 21 again, 30 again. And funny thing is my dad, he likes to say that. He would say, oh, it's so nice if, I could live, young, like go back younger and live longer. And then I said, really? Like if you could start all over again, would you? He's like, no.
It's too much work. It's too much
Once
work.
is enough.
So once is enough. And he's like, I've got your mom and I just want to make sure wherever I go, I still have your mom. That's, that's the most important.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
But do you remember the year when you turned 30? Were there any goals that were still unachieved for you?
Oh, I have lots of goals. I remember, let's not talk about the year 30 yet, right? Like in my 20s, I I remembered I want to be married and I wanted to have all my kids by 30.
Hey, same. Still single now, by the way.
I know, me too at that time. So when I was turning 30, I was single.
Casey, you got 2 months.
You got 2 months
You got
to
2
find
months.
someone.
Find someone and give birth.
And give pregnant.
Solid. Thank you.
Yeah, so I had those goals, and then I had those goals because in my 20s, early, like I think by 25, financially, I was actually very comfortable. So I thought, if I can get married, if I have my kids, and then I could retire by 40, So now that I'm nearing my 40s, I'm not looking to retire. So you see, things change, right? So when I was getting to my 30s, I was not really in that mode where like, oh gosh, I haven't done all of this. But I was aware that I wanted to, and I was very aware at that time that, I haven't hit all of these goals that I had initially set. But then maybe I set them for the wrong reasons, right?
You know, it's funny because I know someone who every birthday, she goes into this crisis and she cries. Like weeks leading up to...
Crisis, literally.
Crisis. Weeks leading up to her birthday every year.
Is that a friend or?
No, it's not me. It's not me.
Sometimes on Hush Podcast, here's a little secret. We say it's our friend. Actually, it's us.
Really?
But in this case, it's not. She
It's
doesn't
not.
cry on her birthday.
I don't. What
She
do I do
doesn't
on my
cry
birthday?
ever.
Yeah, she
Azura
just
never cries.
yeah she
She's
parties it up on her birthday. She's very happy.
She was a ball of sunshine.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you very much.
So your friend who
My friend cries every weeks leading up to her birthday. She just feels like resistant towards aging. Just feels like, oh my gosh, I've gone through another year. What has happened to me? I don't really understand it. Because, we celebrate our birthdays, right? I celebrate for a month, by the way.
Birthday month.
Yes.
But on the flip side of it, I was actually just talking to a young friend the other day. And I actually said, you know what? It's actually great to be this age. Like, I've never enjoyed it more. I think it's great to be almost 30. You're a little bit more stable here. Here. Here.
Yes.
She was pointing to her head, her heart, and then
Her wallet.
her wallet.
Correct. Sorry, it's a podcast. I forgot. You're a little bit more stable. You're only answerable to yourself. You've got money. You can do whatever you want. It's great.
I agree, but here's my gripe with that, which I don't know if Rhonda can give me some clarity on, right? Is that, yes, I am happier, healthier, mentally, physically, but I do experience a bit of existential crisis, like, what am I doing in life? What is my purpose? Am I doing the right thing? What's my life gonna look like? Should I be doing something else? I don't know if you felt that way, at that age.
I think we should actually consider this on a daily basis, not just at a turning,
Right.
Point of 30, 40, or 50. I think it's important that, we wake up every day knowing that we'll contribute positively to the world, be kind to people around us, have empathy towards others. So I think that's something it's so beautiful that you think about. I don't think it's a crisis. I just think that, think about it. It's good, it's good.
So wholesome.
Honestly, like, after speaking to Rhonda today, I might have a crisis. I need to relook my life.
Okay, so question for Rhonda. Were you afraid of turning 30?
Was I afraid? I think that year was a great year for me. I think a few years before, I was in quite a bad state. So I got out of a long-term relationship that I thought was going to be my life. I was going to get married. I'm going to have my kids, right? By 30.
High five, Rhonda.
And I think at that time, I just thought, how am I going to get out of this? How am I going to live through this? And I had a lot of questions to myself, like, am I doing things right? Did I not, give enough in a good relationship to make the relationship good? Was I the cause of all the arguments, all the problems? So I think that time was tough. And I had good people around me. I had great friends. I have my sister who then said, it's going to get better. And I said, what do you mean it's going to be better? And I'm crying. And she said, well, it doesn't take a genius to see that it's not great, So, but still, I was like, but how do you know? What if my life gets worse? What if I meet a worse guy, right? And I remember my sis said, just trust that it'll be better. And she said, don't spend too much time feeling sad. I remember she said, just give yourself 10 minutes and then move on.
That's what I practice every time I'm sad. I say, okay, I can wallow in this pity pool of sadness for 10 minutes, but that's it.
Yeah, just move on, right?
Yes.
And then in hindsight, she was right. So by the time I got to my 30s, I was out of that mess, you know, and life was good. You know, I have that friends, the family, and everyone who's around me. And you start learning some things that are very meaningful, you know, in life, which is that the people who really, really love you, they will always continue to love you.
Oh.
And the people who kind of love you for a while and then don't love you anymore, they never really, truly loved you, you know? So I also learned that, you know, true love endures, you know, it persists.
Right. Yeah, and I think many people in life, they are either a learning point or an end point.
It's like for a season or a reason.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I can't say like I think the same as you right now, Rhonda, because I'm turning 30 in about 2 months' time. And as much as I have the financial side of things, my career like sort of like settled, but some things are just beyond our control, right? Like finding a partner. You actually need someone else to be in love with you.
I think
Many
a lot
people
of
are in love with you, Hazy.
Yeah. Don't think that's the problem
thank
here. Yeah.
But she wants someone that she's in love with.
That's right.
course.
That's right. And I want to start up a family. Timeline is important to me, you know. I have to say, I'm afraid of turning 30.
But you know what I also learned from some friends around me is, you know, if you look at Hyungbin and Sun Ye-jin,
Oh, wow.
if they were not single at that age,
Right.
they wouldn't meet each other.
That's true.
So I always feel like that's a time for the right time, you know? And the right time is not always defined by your age. And age, you know, people say it's just a number. It is. It's like time, you know, it keeps us, you know, having a benchmark to know where we are, you know. Wow. But the reality of like time, it's also very fluid. It's very flexible. You know, you meet the wrong person at the wrong time that we might think is the right time. Gosh, you then get married with someone that's wrong, you
It's
know.
still the wrong person.
Right.
Wrong
Yes.
person. Yeah.
You might as well have waited another 10 years for the right person.
Right. I believe right person, wrong time.
It's
still
still
wrong
the
person.
wrong
It's still the
person.
wrong person.
But there are, you know, anxieties with regards to any kind of big life change or something like turning 30. Like Hazy said, right? I think that's a specific goal that you thought you would achieve by 30, being married or having
or
a
having
partner,
kids, right?
Having
Yeah.
kids. And that's an unrealized dream or goal, right? That you haven't attained. Or just in general, you know, societal expectations. For me, I think it's more like being financially independent.
Which you are, babe.
No, like looking at my amazing friends, like Hazel over here actually just bought her first home.
Wow.
Yes,
Congratulations.
Right? And a lot of my friends are doing amazing and great things. And then I have to kind of take a stock take with myself. Am I doing enough to save? Like, am I spending too much money? You know, what am I doing? So these are societal expectations or things that you benchmark, right, against what your peers are doing.
That's right.
But here's the thing, right? I just wish that people would benchmark against themselves. Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter what anyone is doing, because I think what Rhonda said earlier really struck a chord with me, that it's only up to you. Like, it's on your timeline.
Yeah, but you know, Azura, I wish that the world benchmarked themselves on how much goodness they do. Because I find like, especially in the business world, right, it's always benchmarked against success. We're not talking about needs, right? Of course, we need to make money, we need to buy food. We're talking about success in terms of like, this person has so much wealth, so much fame. And that's how they're ranked in society, right? Like if you have more wealth, you generally rank higher on respect. But then I always find that if only the world was ranked on goodness, right? If you did more goodness, if you contributed more, you're ranked higher. I think that would make the world better. You know, it would be a much better milestone to achieve. Like imagine our milestones were not, I want to be a millionaire. It's more like I wanted to have helped 100 people by the time I turn 30, you know. I think that would be so much more beautiful.
I vote Rhonda for president.
I know.
You have my
Are you gonna
vote.
run?
Madam President. I love that.
That's
Actually,
so nice.
No, because you see, all the stress with you a lot of times is like, you know, the pressure from others, right? And this pressure comes from this benchmark, material benchmark.
Yeah.
Like, you know, but when do people talk about like, what goodness have you done today?
Yeah, that's
know?
true. But I think in society like Singapore, where sometimes unfortunately things are a bit more materialistic. You have to get a property by this age, you have to own a car by that age. People have this fear of underachieving. Like, oh, I'm already 30 this year, but I've not achieved this. How? And that's when like the fear starts to eat you up.
perhaps it's not about pushing yourself to achieve what society expects of you, but it's about changing your mindset to
That's
really,
nice.
to something like what Rhonda says, right? Is there a better benchmark that you can set for yourself? And every day, I think the goal is to be better than you were yesterday. Not to be better than him or her or someone else, but it's to be better than who you were just one day ago. And if you've done that,
Absolutely.
you've succeeded. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think on the flip side of it, I'm so resistant towards societal's expectations, and we know this, and society's timeline, that I'm on the complete opposite end of it, where I really don't care. Like, I really
That's true.
don't.
She's not lying.
I'm not interested in your, vertical race, like your rat race. I really am not. I'm a little bit more interested in the lateral growth.
For myself, I always find it's about maximizing your own potential. All of our potentials are different. We have different talents. I think maximizing your own potential, to me, is actually a duty to others.
How do you do that? Maximize your own potential.
I find that in my growing up life, when I do charity work, volunteer work, you go to places where this people, they don't have the privilege or advantages that we have. No education. Their parents may not exist for them. If they were to grow up, they don't have jobs available for them. So I always feel that the fact that we're here, we have to maximize the ability that we can contribute, And for myself in my 20s, I spent a lot of my time trading equities. I was a very good trader just because I'm very good with numbers, so I made good money from there. In my 30s, it's so much more about how can I convert all of this knowledge into things that's more beneficial. And that's how Ohmyhome came about. So I'm not wealthier, I'm not having more time for fun, but I'm just doing a business that I think can contribute to other people's lives, making sure that every home that Ohmyhome transacts is honest, it's safe, somebody's family they don't have to worry, am I talking to the right person? Did I get the best deal? So that's what I have, committed my life to, because I know I can.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I have to
Just
reflect
wow.
on that, really. Yeah. I will in my journal tonight.
It's really something to think about. I also want to ask you, sometimes people say it's true, right? That things change by the decade. So, now that you're in your 30s, looking back at your 20s, what do you think is the biggest change or difference in terms of maybe your values? What's most important to you?
Like self-confidence, self-worth, does it get better?
It gets better because in my 20s, I felt that I feel what you're sharing about the societal pressure, about having to perform not just for yourself, but, to kind of like show others that, hey, see, I'm quite successful. I'm quite good at what I do. Yeah, like in my 20s, I had, such great fun, friends and everything. But the focus was more on, having a dynamic life, learning, about myself. By the time I got to 30s, it's a lot calmer, and I think with family, it's also different. You kind of calm down, and the things that you want to do is so much to be a better parent, to be a better role model, to have your kids have only things to be proud of, and you don't have to apologize for I wish I had done this better. I wish I had provided you better. If you look at the most famous people of the world, when they're going to die, when they're at their old age, the things they talk about was never about, I wish I spent more time dressing up and look better. I wish I bought more bags. It was always about family. It was always about contribution. It was always about apologies, regrets, right? And I think if you learn from those, you don't have to get to that age. You can already have it today, and then choose to live in a way where, if that person could come back to turning 30 today, what would that person do today?
Wow.
He would spend more time with his loved ones. He would spend more time, devoting his life to doing things that matter. But we can do that today.
This is such a great reminder. Like sometimes I feel like all three of us, we are so busy working that we get sucked into the everyday hustle and bustle of life.
We all do, yeah.
That we don't pause and reflect and think about the things that we could be doing better as a daughter, as a sister, as a friend, as a colleague.
Especially as a daughter, I find a lot of times I'm talking about just good parents, right? If the parents are not good, that's a different thing, right? But good parents, I find a lot of times children really don't spend time with them. They don't love them enough. They spend more money on themselves. So this is something I always like to remind my friends, your parents are getting old. If you don't spend on them now, they're not going to be around for too long.
Oh my gosh, I suddenly miss my parents so much.
I'm getting very emotional.
I know.
Thinking about
Right?
it.
If you
Yeah,
find
it's
like
true.
people my age, right, they spend a lot more on their kids. We're not talking about school, like just in general, travel
Okay.
and stuff. And I'll be like, maybe you should take your parents on a trip instead. You know, your kids who are like 7 years old, they can wait.
That's true. That's true, though.
Yeah, I agree. I think, over the course of your life, your time spent with family, especially parents, it drops drastically once you're in your 20s.
Correct.
But that's up to you to change, right? That's up to you to make time for your family, right? Spend more quality time with them. And in a way, you might have less regrets later
Yes.
in life.
I mean, since when anyone who's like, at the end of their life say like, I use my phone more, right?
Right. I wish I'd spend less time with my family. No one's
No
ever
one
said
says that. Yeah, no one says that.
in life, exactly. And now, Rhonda, you are actually approaching the next decade of your life. So in your 30s, did you feel, or do you feel like, I'm in my prime right now, this is the peak? Or do you feel like there's more, for you in life?
No, prime is a
It's a
state of
mindset,
mind. It's a state of
right.
mind. I have this optimism in life that it'll get better because I think I can do more, and hopefully I can watch my children grow up. I say words like hopefully, not to be morbid, but we really don't know when is our last day. We really
Tomorrow's
don't
not
know.
guaranteed.
Yeah, so this is why every day, it's good to ask these questions, right? Like, is today, are we doing the right things today? So as I look forward to, going into 40s, I want to see how I can contribute even more. How can I build more love? How can I share more? Even the Big Spark, the reason I was so happy to join them was because they said, look, this is not Shark Tank. This is a place where we're going to groom the next, startups, founders who are aspiring to do good for the world. And if you watch the show, you see the things that they're producing, that they have invented. It's so amazing. And I said, yes, I'm more than happy to help with that, So I think I want to contribute more of my life and time to that. I want hopefully my children, to focus their thinking on every day about have they been kind. So when I think about the prime of life, it is a state of mind, right? Today, we're good, we're healthy, we can think. Today is prime. You don't know what happens tomorrow, so this prime has to be every day, every day we're in our prime.
Well, I'm suddenly not so afraid of aging anymore.
I love this.
Like, I can step bravely into my 30s.
It will be good. It will be awesome.
So if there were 3 major life lessons that you felt you've taken away from being in your 30s, what would they be?
I would say, number 1, have the courage to do what's right. We all know sometimes what right is. It could be standing up for someone. It could be a stranger. We could do more of that. I think number 2, I in my own experiences, have listen and trust. And what I mean by listen and trust, it could be minor things. If someone says you're drinking too much, could be bubble tea, Coke, coffee.
Okay, that kind of thing. Okay, got you. I'm so sorry. I accidentally just looked at Azura for a good 3 seconds.
The eyes, just the eyeballs.
Yeah,
Yes,
so
yes,
if someone
yes.
says you're doing too much of something, you probably are. You don't have to defend yourself, You probably are. If someone says you're using your phone too much, you probably are. So trust and listen, because there are times in your life you actually cannot make decisions.
Right.
You're too blinded, and this comes with relationships as well. So it's so good to have someone you can trust, that's unbiased. I think the last one is really just, really spend time in a meaningful way. Yeah, I think that will make your 30s so beautiful, right? Because every day I'm doing this because I want to.
And if you're listening to this in your teens or 20s, you can start now.
Yes.
Don't wait until you're 30.
Exactly.
Start now. Every day can be a meaningful day that you've contributed positively to someone or something.
I agree. But I just want to understand, Rhonda, you are a woman who wears many caps, right? You have business, you're a mother, you're a wife, you're a daughter, you're a sister. How do you then plan your time such that it doesn't burn you out, but you can still give this amount of energy to people who are worthy of your time?
I think whatever I'm doing, I'm 100%. Like here, I'm 100% here. I'm not thinking about my work later. I'm not thinking about who's picking up my kids, right? I'm here. If I'm with my kids...
But wait, there's someone picking up your kids, right?
Yes. So I've already got that organized. Yeah.
Yeah. But being present in
Being
the
very
present
present.
moment.
When I'm with my parents, I'm so mindful of not using my phone. You know, the phone.
That's tough though.
It's so tough. There's always text to reply. There's always something to do, right? But you'll never find me browsing any social media if I'm with anyone. I just don't do that. If I have to reply a text, it's a text that I must reply.
Right.
So I'm very aware of that, So that's how I spend my time. If I'm at work, I'm at work. You can try calling me 10 times. I won't answer the phone.
I like that.
So it's really because that you're so busy that anything you invested time in has to be something that is meaningful to you.
It must be meaningful. It must be worth the time. If I enter a meeting, people are not prepared and it's a waste of time. I'm very aware of stay patient, stay calm, and then I'll try in my best tone to say, could you guys please prepare better for the meeting next time?
That's way nicer than I ever said that. I'd be like, why are you guys not prepared?
Yeah, that's really the tone I feel, right? But I have to try my best, this person is new to the company, maybe he doesn't know, But yes, it has to be a good use of time, So I really try my best to be present, and that's the best I can do. So yesterday, I was supposed to have dinner with my husband, but none of us had time to plan. So we just walked around and then we just dined at a casual restaurant. And one thing that we both shared at the same moment is, isn't it beautiful that we can just be happy just because we're together? Not because there's good food, not because, we went to a very nice place or dress up. It's just we're together.
Right. Fun fact for people who are watching or listening in, at this point of recording, yesterday was actually Valentine's Day.
Yep.
So it's supposed to be an occasion for two people, planned ahead of time. But I love that you freestyled it, winged it, stepped into any restaurant that you saw and had a good time.
Because when it's the right person, it doesn't matter where you are or what you do.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you eat.
Yeah, but it's nice, right? Rather than blaming each other, oh my God, why didn't you plan anything? Oh, I'm so tired, I'm so hungry, So I thought, this to me, these little things in life, this is true happiness.
They matter. Did he get you roses, by the way?
No, sometimes he get me roses on our anniversary or something, flowers. Oh, he's Australian. He gets me this wild Australian flowers.
Oh.
And I remember this year, he actually wrote a card and he said, many years ago when we first met, I sent this to you and you really liked it. So many years later, I'm sending you the very same thing and I hope you feel the same as you did the first time. Oh, and I cried when I read it.
He's about to cry.
I'm very emotional. That's so beautiful. That's so beautiful.
That is really, really
I want this kind of love for myself. I mean, all
Thank
girls
you to be
deserve.
patient. I met him after 30.
All in the right time.
Yes.
All in the right time.
All in the right time.
Okay, I'll try not to be overly anxious about my biological clock.
All in the right time, Hazy.
Yes, all
In the
right
meantime,
time.
you can still send in your applications.
Your resume.
Azura will
That's
approve
right.
it.
So to my girls, who are approaching this new decade, what's something that you hope for yourself when you turn 30 and onwards?
I think there was something that I read recently that really resonated with me that I think is along the lines of what we've spoken about today, which is sometimes we get so impatient for something that we want, or we really, we're chasing after something and we can't wait to get there. We're like, why is it taking so long? Why do I have to go through so much rubbish before I get to where I want to be? But imagine if you knew that after 50 no's, it would be a yes. Every no you got, you would be so excited because it's coming.
Oh,
That's so nice.
It's a very nice mindset.
I like that. For me, I think I just want to be more aware and more selective of my choices. I feel like time is finite, especially stepping in my 30s. I want everything I do to be meaningful. Every friend I make, every relationship I step into, every decision that I make for my career, I want it to be very focused, very skewed towards my end goal.
wow. That's beautiful.
Really? Okay. I was like, looking at you, Rhonda seems like she's going to disapprove my decisions.
Oh, that's beautiful.
No, I like
and
that.
I always think, especially with relationships, right? You really can't rush it at all.
For sure. What about you, Jimmy? What's one thing you want to do differently?
I think one thing that I'm still trying to find in life is balance. Balance between work and personal life and this and that. And I'm trying to find also the energy to be more optimistic. Like what Rhonda's mindset is, right? To be grateful for anything small that happens in your life. It doesn't have to be a major thing that you're thankful for, but I just think being grateful for the small things it really does help your mental health in a very big way. And that's still something that I'm trying to change my mindset about. Like if something doesn't go my way, instead of going to the worst case scenario or thinking in a negative way, how can I reframe my mind to look at it in the positive?
That's nice.
Yeah.
Well, if anything, I feel like for all four of us to be sitting here alive, happy, healthy, that's really something to count our blessings for.
Exactly. I was just, listening and just thinking maybe we just set our benchmark lower. And then
Right.
it's the benchmark of happiness.
Yeah.
Like so my benchmark of happiness is everyone well and alive and happy and healthy? Okay, yes. Okay, happy.
Oh, good.
Everything else is bonus. And if anything else is bad, then it still doesn't affect my benchmark of happiness.
I love that. Adjust your benchmark and you'll be happy all the time.
Yeah. And I think it's as simple as that.
Find happiness in every little thing.
Absolutely.
It doesn't have to be something big before you're happy. Then you'll never be happy.
Agree. Okay, so I just want to wrap up with one last question for Rhonda and then for the girls. Rhonda, what is one last piece of advice you would give to someone who is turning 30 years old?
Enjoy it. Every day is the youngest that you can ever be.
That's true.
So enjoy it. It's just beautiful. You're lucky. You're healthy. You're well. You can be in your 30s. So shine, and just be grateful and just enjoy every single day of your 30s, right? And hopefully when you get to your 40s, you're super happy. You're even happier.
And I feel like Rhonda is so happy that she actually looks so young. What about you girls? What is one thing that you would want to tell your future self?
My future self.
Yes, okay. Let's take things 10 years down the road, okay?
Okay.
What would you now want to say to the you 10 years later?
I hope you're happy.
Aww.
Yeah.
But knowing Germaine, I know you will be happy.
Oh.
You will work hard
hope
to
so.
achieve that for yourself, and the people who love you, like us, your friends around you, will support you.
I'll still be there to haunt your life. Don't worry.
I love you guys.
What about you, Zura?
I hope you continued living your life in such a way where you do anything you want to. You allow life to take you wherever it wants to. And I hope that you know that even though that path leads you to a little bit more heartbreaks than usual because it exposes you to more risk. But I hope you've lived a good life where if anything were to happen on any day, you can actually say, I've lived a good life.
I have no regrets.
Absolutely not.
She was a ball of sunshine.
Thank you very much.
Azura makes it sound like she's talking to the 90-year-old version.
What about you, Hazy?
For me, I recently saw something on Instagram that really struck a chord with me. It says, don't stress. Because if you're stressing about something that hasn't happened, you're basically putting yourself through it twice. And I'm like, yo, that makes sense. So what 29-year-old Hazy want to tell 39-year-old myself would be, just stop thinking about what will happen in the future and just live every day as I would.
Stop now, Hazy.
Stop what?
Stop
worrying.
thinking.
Yeah,
Yeah, worrying.
Stop overthinking.
Stop
I know.
stressing.
I'm working on it. Trust me, I'm
It's
working
easier
on it.
said than done,
I
right?
know,
We're
right?
all work in progress. Even till the day we die, we'll still be a work in progress. And
That's right.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like I've gained a lot of insight from just speaking with Rhonda.
I'm very inspired.
I know.
Yeah.
Right. It was a really, really encouraging and it's a very good conversation that we had with you, Rhonda.
Oh, I hope so. Thank you. That's great to know. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. And if you want to, check out Rhonda's insights and mentorship, you can watch CNA's The Big Spark. I kind of want to see, what these startups have come up with, some of the great ideas, right, to win $1 million in funding. That is no small amount.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. But you know what? Otherwise, you can follow us for more updates on Instagram at itsclarity.co.
That's right. You can listen to us on Spotify, Me Listen, Apple Podcasts. I also want to say, in a world where you can be anything, choose to be kind.
Oh, I love that. We're also on YouTube, so come and check it out, and you'll know what we mean about Rhonda being the absolute epitome of glow. She's just
Yes.
she's
Oh,
just
wow.
glowing.
She's
She's
glowing.
glowing. Madame
you.
President. Thank you so much, Rhonda.
Yes, again,
thank
thank you,
you.
Rhonda.
It's a privilege to be here. Thank you.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Yes.
Yo, I can't believe that you are stepping to the next decade of your
I'm
life.
the youngest of 3 sisters. And now for 10 years, everyone have been saying I look the oldest.
Oh, wow.
That's me, my family as well.
Okay, and you know how I keep myself happy? I just say like, good for my sis. That means she looks really young.
No, but you look so young.
You look
just
so
so
young.
you know.
Babe.
Yes,
Thank
you look
you.
You look
incredible.
so young.